Hello and welcome back to Super Conscious Teens and their super awesome moms. So today we're going to talk about the first of the 4 core choices, which is I am the predominant creative force in my life. And I choose to start with this one because we are creative beings. And as we move into the other core choices, we will intentionally choose what it is we want to create. So I think it's really important that we get a good grasp on how we stand in our personal power and intentionally create what it is we want. So we want to start with knowing that we create on a daily basis. We are creating tons of things that we want in our lives, and we are also creating things that we don't want in our lives. So we want to start there knowing that we have a hand in it. We create a meal, the home that we live in, the pillows, blankets, pictures on the wall. We create our yards and our gardens. We create the body that we live in with the foods that we feed it, the exercise that we give it, and the rest that it needs and that we supply it with. We have created our careers. We create fun adventures or arguments with people in our lives. We create our relationships with our spouses, our friends, family members, and with our teens. And I would like you to take a moment and visualize the relationship that you've created with them as a baby, a young child, and now into these years. We do create this. There are things that we create on our own, and a lot of times we are co-creating with other people in our lives. Now, the dinner, laundry, a clean home, we probably created 100% of that, right? But anyway, I digress. If we don't create 100% of it, we do have a part in the creation of it. Now, I really want to emphasize something, that we absolutely do not create everything. Life can be really devastating, and things can happen that we had absolutely no part in. We are all part of the human experience. Every single human being experiences suffering. Every single human being fails, and we all have imperfections. It's something that we all have in common. And when we choose to be the predominant creative force in our life, it does not protect us from the human experience. But on a daily basis, we are creating, and we are choosing moment by moment what we want to create. And we are co-creating with others. Look at your family. You co-created that with your husband, maybe your ex-husband, the beautiful beings that together you brought into this world. You co-create with your friendships, girlfriends, your relationships with coworkers and family members. Think about the adventures that you have co-created, the belly laughs, the meals, the heart-to-hearts that were co-created. We are co-creating with a higher power as well. We're not just a bystander. We decide, we visualize, we have thoughts, and we take action. We are part of the creation. And we do this with our teens as well. We co-create with them. And that is why you cannot just declare, I am going to have a great relationship with my teen. They will never roll their eyes at me again. We just don't have that power. Let's not kid ourselves. We're only half of the equation. So what I choose to do is show up 100% what I want the relationship to be. Whether it's with my spouse, my child, a boss, or a coworker. I choose how I want to react. I choose that if they don't even show up halfway, I'm not going to take it personally. And that, again, tomorrow morning, my intention is to show up 100% the way that I want that relationship to be. I'm also going to choose to believe that the relationship can be what I want it to be. And I'm going to focus on those little seeds, those things that are working towards the relationship that I want. I'm going to choose to be it, the seed, the early version of what I choose to intentionally create with whomever it is in my life, but in particular, the relationship I want to have with my teen. I'm going to be it. Now, again, I'm human. So when I say I show up 100%, there are those days that I'm only showing up 80%. Some days 50, and there are those days, they're few, but yeah, I'm just trying to show up. So it's an intention that we set to show up 100% of what we want the relationship to look like. The other part of this, though, is that everyone has the power to create. So we must honor their power as well. And I've been guilty of saying, I'm going to make my child blah, blah, blah. And there are those things. We are parents. They're still under our roof. That we do need to set a standard and hold them to. However, as our teen pulls towards autonomy, that means that they're in the right place. That's what they're supposed to be doing right now. So there are those times to step back and let them create. And there may be consequences to the things that they are creating. Since we're talking about children, I want to clarify that they do have power to create. However, not as much power as we do. And there are two reasons for that. One, they are children. They live under our roofs, and there are things that we encourage them to do. Like I encourage my kids to watch these videos and talk about this stuff with me. My sister encourages my niece to take faith formation classes. And a really good friend of mine encourages her teen to play at least one sport a season. They obviously don't have that power over us. And sometimes they do not have the power to say no. By law, they must attend school. It's illegal for them to drink, and for some of them to drive cars. The other reason they don't have this power is their brain is still developing. The part that reacts is far more developed than the part of the brain that reasons. So they may be creating things in their life right now that don't serve them. There are really good kids that live in really bad situations. Adults create environments that these kids don't have power over. And I would never want these kids to take on the responsibility that they created something that they had no power over. I know a lot of us have either been through a divorce or have seen loved ones go through a divorce. And we know these kids often feel like they did something wrong. It's really important for us to talk to our kids about these bigger things that happen in life that they did not have a part in. It's just as important to let them know that we all have power over the emotions we choose to feel, the thoughts we choose to have, the actions we choose to take. We can choose how we want to experience something. I tell our girls that energy is contagious. When someone is in a bad mood, others feel it, and it can bring you down. But we do have the power to choose if we're going to allow that to happen or not. When you choose to be happy in the presence of someone that is not, you're standing in your power. When you choose not to let the person that cut you off on your drive into work get to you, you are standing in your power. When your teen chooses to enjoy the hike that they're on instead of complaining, they are standing in their power. We also have the power to choose what meaning we assign to things that happen in our lives. So if your spouse decides to leave you, you can either assign it, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, he's a horrible human being, or this is not right. The relationship is not right for us, and I deserve better. It really comes down to the meaning we assign to the experiences that occur in our lives. How many of you have had your teen crushed because they didn't make the team or didn't have anyone to sit with at lunch? They immediately assign the meaning of, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. I don't belong. Let them know that they can choose to assign their own empowering meaning to it. I didn't make the team this time. I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to try again next time. I believe in myself. I know I'm a good player. This is so much more powerful and allows them to go forward and create something new. Now, I already mentioned the human experience. We all suffer, fail, and have imperfections. The above mentioned experiences can hurt, and we need to choose to feel it, to allow it, and let it go. If you choose not to feel it and stuff it down, you keep those emotions inside, and that will affect how you move forward and what you create. You also do not want to get stuck in the pain. If you do, you're giving the person or the thing that caused you the pain your power. And this is something that does not change overnight. We don't all of a sudden say, I'm going to choose how I experience things now. This is a practice. We start by bringing awareness to our thoughts and our feelings and how we choose to experience things. Doing the 4 core choice meditation every day, 5 minutes, it's all it takes, is part of the equation of shifting and changing our thoughts, patterns, and our beliefs. I'm often checking myself and reminding myself that I'm more powerful than those external circumstances that try to pull me in their direction. Creations happen constantly, and if we are not being intentional with what we want to create, we will be pulled to someone else's creation. So wake up every day and choose. Choose the small things, the daily things that you want to create. Choose things you want to create for your future. Wake up and intentionally choose, because you are the predominant creative force in your life. And by doing that, you will be modeling for your teens the power of intentionally creating. And in a few weeks, I will be launching my teen series. They will have corresponding videos that are much shorter and much more exciting. It's going to be hip. I'm going to have some animation added to it. So keep a lookout for that, and just start modeling, start having the conversation with your teens about what is possible, what they can create for themselves. Okay, so we are going to end this session with a journaling meditation on the predominant creative force in my life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you take a couple deep breaths in and out and find a really comfortable seat, and one preferably at a table or a desk, or have a notebook in hand, because you're going to close your eyes, go into a meditation, kind of visualize these key points from the predominant creative force as I guide you through it. And then I'm going to have you open your eyes and journal a little bit. So as I introduce the key point, I would like you to pause the recording, close your eyes, get in touch with how you have created, and then open your eyes, journal, and then hit play again, and I'll give you the next key point. So, eyes closed, deep breath in and out. The first key point is, I own it. I know that I create what I have in my life. And I want you to recall things that you have created that you are grateful for, things that you want in your life. We want to focus on what we do want, right? So close your eyes, turn this recording off, sit with that for a moment, then open your eyes, journal, and turn this back on, and I will provide you with the next key point. The next key point is, I show up 100% in my relationships when I co-create with others. Now this is a two-part. You need to show up 100% for yourself. We are not going to become codependent and do everything for everyone else. We need to be showing up first 100% for ourselves, and then secondly 100% of what we want that relationship to look like. So close your eyes, sit with that a moment, and then journal and turn this back on for the next key point. And now I want you to close your eyes and get in touch with when you chose, what you felt and what to think, and how you are going to experience something. When you stood in your power and said, I'm not going to let that external circumstance sway my mood or make me think anything differently or experience this in a way that's not true to what I desire right now. So close your eyes and connect with that, and open them up and journal, and I'll be back. Okay, and the third point is I choose what meaning I assign to things. So I want you to recall a situation in the past where you decided what that meant. Not society, not a family member, not a neighbor, not another mother, but you chose what meaning you are going to assign to something that happened in your life. And then open up and journal. And lastly, I choose to feel and let it go. There are so many things that happen in our life that are incredibly hurtful. We often don't have the time or the energy to let ourselves feel it. And if you can't do it in the moment, allow yourself some grace, to feel that pain and let it move through your body. Don't hold on to that pain inside. So I want you to recall when you have done that and journal, and then we will end today's session. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you receive some good nuggets from this, and I will be providing you with the meditation. And now what you have journaled, you can kind of start to apply to your meditation. And I just hit on some key points, some things that happened maybe the previous day. I just hit on some key points, and I make it a really short meditation. It's just creating the habit and the consistency to focus on what you've created and what you choose to create moving forward. So thanks again, and have a great day.